In recent years, claims have emerged suggesting that a Somali queen, or even a Somali pharaoh, once ruled ancient Egypt. Some interpretations go further, proposing that ancient Egyptians were originally from Somalia, or that Somalia was the source of Egypt's royal bloodlines. These ideas often circulate through social media, Pan-African discourse, and cultural pride movements. While the enthusiasm behind these claims is understandable, the historical record tells a different story, one that is no less fascinating, even if it doesn't confirm the existence of a Somali pharaoh. There is no evidence in ancient Egypt's long list of rulers that a pharaoh or queen originated from what is now Somalia or the Greater Horn of Africa. Egypt's kings and queens were primarily of Egyptian, Nubian, Sudanese, Libyan, and later Greco-Roman descent. While women like Hatshepsut, Nefertiti, and Cleopatra held immense power, none came from Punt, the region linked with Somalia. Even when foreign powers ruled Egypt, such as during the 25th dynasty when Nubian kings governed the land, none came from the Somali peninsula. Egyptian records, including royal king lists and tomb inscriptions, never mention any monarch of Somali origin. The real historical link between Egypt and Somalia lies in the ancient land of Punt. Punt was a wealthy, independent region with which Egypt traded extensively for centuries. The Egyptians called it Tanet Jeru, meaning God's land, because it supplied sacred goods like frankincense, myrrh, ebony, gold, ivory, and exotic animals. These items were vital for religious ceremonies and temple offerings. Modern archaeology and science strongly suggest that Punt was located in the Horn of Africa, likely in present-day Somalia, Eritrea, Djibouti, and parts of Ethiopia. This conclusion comes from trade records, stylistic clues in Egyptian art, and even isotope studies on ancient baboon mummies found in Egyptian tombs. Those animals had isotopic signatures matching the environment of Somalia and Eritrea. The most famous Egyptian expedition to Punt was led by Queen Hatshepsut around 1493 BC. Her mortuary temple at Deir el-Bahri contains detailed carvings of the journey, including scenes of Egyptian ships arriving in Punt, trade exchanges, and the Puntite royal family. These reliefs show King Pharaoh and his wife, Queen Ati. Queen Ati is depicted with unique physical features, possibly indicating a health condition, or simply artistic exaggeration. Regardless, her portrayal is powerful. She stands beside her husband as the Egyptians present gifts and receive the wealth of Punt in return. This is the only known depiction of a queen from the Horn of Africa in Egyptian art. Queen Ati ruled her own land, not Egypt. There's no record of her holding power outside of Punt, marrying into the Egyptian royal family, or being considered Egyptian in any capacity. Some early Egyptologists believed that calling Punt the land of the gods might imply that Egyptians viewed it as their ancestral home. But most modern scholars interpret this title as symbolic, reflecting Punt's religious significance, rather than any belief in a shared origin. The goods Punt provided, like incense and myrrh, were used in temples and burials, giving the region a sacred status. This doesn't mean Egyptians thought their civilization came from Punt, or that its people were their ancestors. Somali oral history doesn't record any tales of rule over Egypt. The most famous legendary Somali queen is Arawilo, a folkloric figure remembered for establishing matriarchal rule in ancient Somalia. Her story is completely local, with no connection to Egyptian narratives. Occasionally, ancient ruins in Somalia are nicknamed Pharaohs' houses in folklore, but this is more of a symbolic way of referring to very old structures. It doesn't reflect an actual historical memory of Somalis ruling Egypt. The Somali Pharaoh concept is a recent development, mostly driven by cultural pride and the rediscovery of the Land of Punt's location in the Horn of Africa. As African scholars and communities reclaim their historical roles in world civilizations, there's been a desire to link modern identities with ancient greatness. Some of these modern interpretations go beyond the evidence. Online, you'll find claims that ancient Egyptians were Somali, or that Somalia ruled over Egypt, often accompanied by images of Queen Adi or Hatshepsut's temple carvings. These claims are not supported by historical or genetic data. Genetic studies of Egyptian mummies show a population that was largely indigenous to the Nile Valley, with some Near Eastern ancestry. While there may be distant connections across the Afro-Asiatic-speaking world, Somalis and ancient Egyptians had separate ethnic, linguistic, and cultural identities. Despite the lack of a Somali pharaoh, the actual historical relationship between Egypt and the Horn of Africa is impressive. Punt, likely located in Somalia and nearby regions, was an essential trading partner. Egyptians revered it as a land of wealth and divine substances. Queen Adi of Punt was a real documented African queen who engaged diplomatically with one of Egypt's most famous rulers. This alone is remarkable. Her story, and that of the people of Punt, deserves more recognition. Rather than rewriting history, there's great value in celebrating the truth that Somalia's ancient ancestors played a key role in the world's first international trading network. Egypt respected and admired the people of Punt. Their products became part of Egypt's spiritual and royal life. Their leaders, like Queen Adi, were honored in one of the greatest temples of the ancient world. The myth of a Somali pharaoh ruling Egypt doesn't hold up to historical scrutiny. There are no records, inscriptions, or genetic data that support it. But behind the myth is a powerful reality. Ancient Somalia, through the Land of Punt, was deeply connected to Egypt as a sacred and trusted partner. Queen Adi of Punt may not have ruled Egypt, but her name and image survive in Egyptian stone, a testament to the legacy of a proud and influential civilization on the African coast. That is a story worth remembering.